This is Bruce Friedman of Adult Site Broker, and welcome to Adult Site Broker Talk, where each week we interview one of the movers and shakers of the adult industry, and we give you a tip on buying and selling websites. This week we'll be speaking with Jack Polo of Mock Media. ASB Marketplace is the first platform where you can buy and sell adult sites and domains for free. ASB Marketplace allows buyers and sellers the chance to come together on properties that are valued below our company's minimum of $50,000. Don't pay for other marketplaces when ASB Marketplace gives you the service for free. Visit asbmarketplace.com and sign up as a seller or a buyer today. And of course, there's ASB Cash, the first affiliate program for an adult website brokerage where you can earn as much as 20% of our broker commission referring sellers and buyers to us at Adult Site Broker. Check out asbcash.com for more details and to sign up. Now let's feature our property of the week that's for sale at Adult Site Broker. We're proud to offer for sale a tube site that has full-length BDSM videos for free. The site is built on WordPress and is 3 years old. They are currently the only free tube providing premium BDSM videos. They regularly add user requests and user-provided content after moderation. The owner started the site out of frustration because there was nothing else out there like it, and he wanted to visit such a site. It soon became popular on Reddit, and business soared. The owner has decided to move on to other ventures outside the adult industry. The site's visitors come back again and again due to its uniqueness. They have over 13,000 premium videos, and most of them are 30 minutes or longer. With more videos and categories, the site can do even better. Most of the traffic is from Tier 1 countries. There is no advertising for the site. All of the traffic is either type-in or from SEO. This is a great opportunity for someone with existing traffic. Only $269,000 US. Now time for this week's interview. My guest today on Adult Site Broker Talk is Jack Polo of XXX Playground. Jack, thanks for being with us today on Adult Site Broker Talk.
Oh, thanks for having me.
It's a pleasure. Now, Jack is the founder and CEO of Mock Media. Their premier brand is XXX Playground. Now, Jack comes from a 30-plus year background in music production. He transitioned in 2014 into the adult industry. He devotes his time to developing effective tools for couples looking to build stronger bonds and take their relationship to the next level of intimacy. XXX Playground is a platform for adults who have something in common, their love for venturing into new heights when it comes to their sexual intimacy. XXX Playground is a fun-filled game that can be played amongst couples and with a third person or in a group. It will provide an opportunity to explore different sexual realms and suggestively take you to a sexual height you might have needed help discovering. It's located at XXXplayground.com. This holistic tool was created with the intention of perfecting a medium where adults can bask in uninhibited sexual communication, all the while bridging the gap and eliminating awkwardness, criticism, and judgment. As a result, building stronger, healthier bonds filled with love and trust. The game is ideal for any intimate adult relationship or environment. They pride themselves in being the guide to the pursuit of sexual pleasure. Sorry, Jack, that's all we have time for today.
I said, Jesus, he summed it up pretty well.
Yeah, you weren't sure that was a joke, huh? Okay,
yeah.
So you obviously have a very vast background. So why don't you tell me a bit about yourself, where you come from, and your background?
As you mentioned earlier, I have 30-plus year background in music production, to be exact, as well as audio engineering. So that was my forte, per se, for the last 30-plus years. And then I switched over in about 2014, and I decided, my music, even my passion for music kind of ran its course, and I wanted to venture into something new, something that I was very familiar with.
Mhm.
And I decided to go into the communication sector of for adults, from
Mhm.
reading so many books on psychology
Mm.
and just the process of how women process and how men process and
Mm.
couples and going to couples therapy myself
Mm.
within several relationships. I gained a lot of knowledge throughout the years, and I realized that there were there was a need for a certain a medium for couples to kind of put their guards down and be able to learn how to communicate more effectively. And
Interesting.
due to technology, I think that we are hindered with that even more. So
Mhm.
even though it makes it easier to communicate or faster as
Right.
far as the instant gratification, I
Mhm.
think the getting to know a person and that whole, that intimate sector of communicating is kind of lost. And I think that
Yes.
there's a need for those type of tools to have healthier relationships overall and just teach each other how to learn one another, what to look for. And I thought that the ideal platform would be a universal language that
Great.
everyone spoke. And I thought sensuality would be that. So I
Sure.
created tools within that sector.
That's cool.
Yeah.
I did note an East Coast accent.
Yes, I'm from New York, born and raised in Corona, Queens,
Mm.
and raised in Jackson Heights, Queens.
Okay.
For the most part of my life, I was raised in Queens, and as of recently, I moved out to the West Coast, and now I'm in Laguna Niguel,
Ooh,
right by Laguna Beach. It's beautiful out here in
nice.
Orange County.
Yes, it
Yeah,
is.
yeah,
Yes, it is.
yes, yes, yes.
So you're enjoying the West Coast, huh?
I'm enjoying it. I'm loving the West Coast. It's just so much more peaceful out here, and
Mhm.
you can really, really get into your creativity out here
Yeah,
with minimal distractions, if you will.
that's awesome. Yes, and the
Hmm.
winters are much nicer.
Well, it's winter now, and it's what, 60 degrees. So that's pretty funny, right? You wear a little
Indeed.
sweater, and forget about the big triple goose or anything like that. You don't need that anymore.
No,
Yeah,
exactly.
it's just in a storage. Mhm.
That sounds good. Sounds good to me. Now, tell me
Yeah.
about your career as a music producer.
Okay, so as a music producer, I've been in music since the age of 9,
Wow.
as a DJ, and I started DJing, and at that time we used to make what was called mixtapes. So
Yeah.
I um I started making these mixtapes, and then there were these battles that we would have in different neighborhoods, and we would battle for equipment.
Right.
And rapidly, I became pretty popular because I was pretty good, and I was winning all my battles, and I was winning so many records and
Hmm.
turntables and mixers from other DJs. About 16 years old, I went to audio engineering school. I went to Center for the Media Arts, and I got a degree
Hmm.
in audio engineering. And my
Wow.
mentor, James Mason, taught
Mhm.
me how to produce music.
Yeah.
So I started producing, and that just turned into me getting a job at Power Play Studios, which is a
Hmm.
legendary hip hop studio.
Yeah.
And I got signed to Sony Epic Records within 6 months as
Wow.
an artist, under a group called SSL, Smoking Suckers with Logic.
Hmm.
And we released our debut album in 2000, I mean, excuse me, 1993. In
Mhm.
1993, and it did okay. The group broke up shortly after that. I became an independent producer. I did a lot of work for the label and for many other labels, and then I formed an actual music production company,
Mhm.
and I did that for many years up till about 2010. Then I took a hiatus for 2 or 3 years, and I came back and I said, you know what, I don't want to do music anymore.
Hmm.
Um, I was just burnt out from the whole music thing, and just so many how it affected my personal relationships and
Mhm.
all the trials and tribulations that I went through personally because of putting my music career in the forefront. I guess I was in my
Sure.
selfish stages, and
Mhm.
and so, but something the silver lining was that I learned so much about communicating effectively,
Right.
and I took that information, and I was actually dared to create a board game that would be suffice to the needs of me and my girlfriend at the time.
Hmm.
and she dared me, and I was up for the challenge, so I created it. And the way I create, from coming from musical background, I create like a grid, like patterns and grids and numbers, so no one
Hmm.
could understand my formula. And then I kind of shelved that. And
Hmm.
then we get to 2014, and I'm like, you know what? I should manufacture a prototype and see if this
Hmm.
thing is actually going to really work. And so I did. And in 2014, I made my, actually 2013, I made my first prototype, and I started having fun with it. And I
Hmm.
started inviting girls over. I was single, and
Hmm.
I would play the game with different people, and I'd get raving reviews about the game, and everyone wanted a copy of the game or to buy the only copy that I had.
Hmm.
So I was like, wow, this is pretty interesting. And from that, um, came around 2014. I started doing like informal gatherings of friends and friends of friends, and it would be hors d'oeuvres and like tequila and like even some weed smoking or whatever.
Hmm.
And then out of nowhere, I would say, "Hey guys, can I have your attention?" And I would do a PowerPoint presentation, and there would be people that were heterosexual, bisexual, homosexual. There
Hmm.
was all types of people there, and
Right.
I would have these questionnaires that I would hand out, and I would get feedback
Hmm.
about what they saw, the game board that I unveiled, and the PowerPoint presentation that I did. What did they think? So
Right.
that was my whole point. I wanted to see what people thought about the game, and I got a lot of great creative criticism. And from that, I made adjustments, and then I made another prototype, and so on and so on, and to the point where in 2017 I was offered funding, and then we set forth to figure out a marketing strategy and everything. But by then I had already developed about 30 products, and
Jeez.
on paper I developed about two other services that I haven't launched yet.
Hmm.
So it's a brand. It's not just a game right now, and this game is not just a game. This game
Right.
is an experience.
Hmm.
You know, you buy this game and it's never the same play twice.
Sure.
There are 400 cards on in the game,
Wow.
and there are refill packs as well. So if you can imagine, like when a couple gets this game, I made a key that the woman always feels secure and feels safe, and in that sense, the woman sets the environment. She handpicks the card she feels comfortable playing with, and she puts the rest to the side. This way, she sets the soft limits and the hard limits in
Nice.
playing the game. And at
Nice.
the same time, it's still random because it depends on what color you land on the board that you have to either pick the cards or roll the dice. That being said, it's still there's that spontaneity. And I took all the trivia out of the game. I didn't want any trivia because that's the last thing that people are looking for when they're flowing, if you know what I mean. So I left it a lot of action, and even the cop out cards or the black cards for answering a quick question. Those questions are, I have, they've been edited at least 18 times, you know, by all walks of life as well, to make sure that they were non offensive and that they were something that would be easy to answer yet informative, because the
Hmm.
whole point is about couples learning each other, learning what their interests are, what they would like from the other without having to ask for it, and make it awkward because of a fear of judgment or criticism,
Hmm.
mainly from the woman's part, but not solely.
Right.
Sometimes men are afraid to ask for what they desire as well.
Yeah. Yeah.
So it goes both ways. So I thought in this way, this was an incredible tool to help couples bridge that gap in communication.
Yeah. It
So
sounds like it.
then, yeah, and from that, and it just organically grew into the marketing plan for the entire concept of this product. Because then I said, you know what, this is more than just a game, you
Yeah.
know, and then I said, this is a communication tool, and that's fantastic because we don't have any communication tools on this level of sensuality and sexuality on the
Right.
market today. And in the same respect, it's never the same thing twice. You know what I mean? So
Yeah.
you get to learn your partner and you get to grow with it. You know, you get to grow with the game. I've sold like 1,500 units, a little more than that thus
Nice.
far. I have zero returns, zero returns and raving reviews.
That's
We've been
awesome.
nominated for you know, game of the year by
Right.
Amni XBiz, as you know,
Hmm.
and hopefully we win. But even if we don't,
Yeah.
that's okay.
Yeah.
Because right now, as it is, we're getting a lot of traction. We're getting a lot of people that want to buy into this company right now. But I'm holding off because I want to bring the company to a certain level. I can see being offered the right amount of money. Yeah, I'm
Yeah.
not
Well,
trying to sell it out. I would
yeah, you
like
don't want to
to.
leave. You don't want to leave money on the table. There's no two ways about it.
Well, I don't want
I
to
tell
do
my
that. No.
clients that all the time.
Yeah, I don't want to do that, but I don't want to sell out either. I mean,
Right.
I'm my products, I stand behind them because I believe in them with all my passion. So
Sure.
if I was to give this up to somebody right now, they wouldn't know what to do with it. They didn't
Yeah.
create it. You have to wait for this to unravel to a solid brand to a point where people just it's synonymous with the best sex game you can buy in the market, Triple X Playground. I not because I said it, but because the masses have said it.
Yeah.
Because the people have spoken, and that's
Well,
the
yeah.
point I want to get to. And
Right.
like I said, this is only our first product, right? So we have a whole lot of products coming down the pipeline.
That's awesome. So you obviously are passionate. What motivates you?
Okay, so I mean, what motivates me in general? I
Hmm.
mean, I learned well, what motivates me is when I take on a project, I'm so meticulous with things that I want to make sure I dot my I's, I cross my T's. I set groups of milestones and I give myself a timeline. And I know that when I finish that group of milestones, I have reached a goal. But I
Sure.
know that there are many goals to reach. And so
Hmm.
I'm very adamant about reaching these goals. I work very hard at this. I'm 24/7 with this company and with this brand. And I mean, other than that, I guess what people usually say, which I mean, I'm a father of four, so my children motivate me. My
Sure.
children know what I do. It took them a while to figure it. They're like, Dad, you've been doing music your whole life. Now you're doing this. I'm like, yes. And one thing I know for sure is that sex always sells, right? But in the
Hmm.
same respect, there's a lack of communication.
Sure.
So when you put that together, it sounds like a golden recipe to me. It just
Yep.
makes sense to me. This really makes sense to me. So that's what motivates me that I want to help people and I
Hmm.
want to I want to help relationships.
Yeah.
I've been in relationships that I wish would have worked. I've
Yeah.
been in relationships that I
Haven't we
kind of
all?
messed up.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Haven't we?
that I kind
Haven't
of
we
messed up
all?
myself. And I learned from those things. So if I
Yeah.
could, that cliche saying, if you could turn back time, there is no turning back time. Time is
Nope.
infinite. It keeps going.
Yep.
But what you can do is gain wisdom from your biggest mistakes. And that's
Hmm.
what I work on, and that's what I try to help people with. That through my tools, that I could help them have longer lasting relationships, better relationships, maybe even forever. You know,
That's awesome.
like, yeah, and that pretty much the purpose, and
Great.
that's what motivates me. Yeah.
So so why did you choose to get into adult entertainment?
Well, I was doing music for 30 plus years, and
Hmm.
I did get nominated for a Grammy, and I
Wow.
didn't win. And in that industry, it was so cutthroat,
Oh yeah.
and I just got so tired of it. Plus, I didn't have the soft skills that you would need to be successful in that industry at
Hmm.
that time. And so it's all about timing, right? So it just
Sure.
wasn't meant to be because I gave music my entire life until
Hmm.
about the age of 45.
Hmm.
And I'm 52 years old, by the way.
You're young.
And yeah, yeah. So, I said, okay, I did, I've dabbled in my own, leisure activities, if you will,
Hmm.
drinking and smoking, whatever. So I'm
Sure.
like, all right, I did music, rock and roll. I did, some drugs in my life. Okay, now I don't, right? I smoke a little weed. That's it. And then I'm like, but I never did like anything in sex. So sex, drugs, and rock and roll, as cliche as that may sound, I'm a musician at heart. And I'm like,
Right.
I got that game that I created.
Yeah.
So why don't I enhance that and work on that?
Hmm.
And so that drove me to work on the aesthetics.
Right.
And then, I like nice things. So I said, I got to make this plush. I got to make
Mhm.
this game look phenomenal so that there's no competition aesthetically. And
Mhm.
then I got to show people how good the game plays, like the game flow, and that will take some, educating, but that's okay. I'm up for the challenge. And so that's really what got me into it. I said, you know what what began as a fun task became an obsession which developed into a brand in my head on paper,
Mhm.
and I'm like, wow, I really have something here. And then I spoke to some financiers and people like that, not for funding, but just for their opinions because they're successful businessmen,
Right.
and they were blown away.
Hmm.
I mean, this is on maybe 3 or 4 different occasions. I spoke to 4 different groups of
Mhm.
people, and they were blown away by the idea, the concept, and just the passion, the drive that I had to make this a reality. They were
Mhm.
like, "This is gonna take off," and I'm like, "Really?" So I respect them intellectually, and I said, they're very successful businessmen. I said, you know what, I got something here, and so I just dove into it full fledged, and
Sure.
I haven't looked back since.
That's
That's
awesome.
really what drives me to do this.
Okay.
Mhm.
So, how did you originally come up with the concept of Triple X Playground?
Originally, like I said before, it was a dare. I was
Oh, yeah,
dared.
you mentioned that. Yes.
Yeah, I was
Okay.
dared. So I went on a couple of dates with this girl, and we would go to sex shops. We'd come out of the club, maybe tipsy,
Right.
and go to a sex shop to get some toys or whatever. And we'd always pick up a game just for, I guess, shits and giggles, and they
Mhm.
sucked. The games weren't good. They were poorly made. There
Right.
was no psychological approach whatsoever. They weren't well thought out, and the graphics were horrendous, and
Yeah.
the quality was just flimsy. It was more
Hmm.
like a gag that you give at, like, uh, a bridal shower or
Yeah,
something.
or
And
a
I was like,
bachelor
this is
party,
not.
yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, I was like, this is not cool. And so that's where the challenge came from. And I was like,
Hmm.
yeah, I'll do that. And so I set out to do it, and like I said before, then I shelved it, and then I went back a couple of years later, and I looked into it and started working on the graphics, and I hired, like, one of the best graphics designers that I know in New York to help me,
Mhm.
and we worked on it for like 6 months. Like, everything was no, 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 until finally he figured what I was trying to convey to him that I
Mhm.
was looking for, and the rest is history. I mean,
Mhm.
after that, I have actually 4 different games, so this is
Mhm.
only the first one.
Right.
The other 3 came naturally.
Yeah, get into a little more information about the whole creative process and take it from thinking about the concept to the actual launch where you're selling it and the steps along the way.
Like I said, I conceptualized the thought on, like, a grid, a mathematical grid,
Right.
and then I started thinking, okay, I can't make this game too complex. I have to keep it very fundamental, very basic. And then I also thought, okay, it's a sexual game in nature, so I can't disturb the flow either. So
Right.
trivia is completely out. And then I said, okay, it has to stay exciting, exciting, and it has to be to the point where some of the cards are obscure. Like, whoa, we've never done that. You have to just let your imagination run wild and
Hmm.
really think of some really off the charts thoughts of things to do. Get creative.
Right.
And so I did. I created coupons. I created, you know, implemented toys and
Hmm.
vegetables and fruits and dressing up and
Yeah.
sky's the limit. I mean,
Right.
the game I created from passion all the way up to like a full, like, orgy, if that's what you're into. You
Hmm.
don't have to go there, but if that's what you're into, it's there. The cards
Right.
are there, and
Right.
you get a taste of everything.
Right.
So it comes with 400 cards. There are refill packs as well that
Like you mentioned. Yeah.
elaborate on
Yeah.
certain, right. Like, if you want a voyeur pack, for
Sure.
instance, you can buy a voyeur pack
Hmm.
just to watch and things like that.
Hmm.
So,
Okay.
um, after I created the aesthetics of the actual board itself, I said, you know what? I want to keep it fundamental. So I said, what are my favorite childhood games? And I started thinking, I said, everyone's done Monopoly and that's just
Oh
played
yeah.
out. And I kept thinking, and then I'm like, wait a minute, I got it. Because the original name of the game was going to be Slip and Slide. And then I knew how cheesy that name was, but it was just
Yeah.
something that I made a direct correlation to sex. So I
Right.
said, and so I designed Slip and Slide. I thought about Chutes and Ladders. And I'm like, oh my God, that's it. And so I started developing around that because originally I said I wanted to be like a checkerboard, simple squares. I don't want it to look like a maze. I just wanted to go back and forth and you climb up and you get to the 100th space. So I knew I wanted 100 spaces and then when I thought about Chutes and Ladders, I said this is perfect because I could make a woman, gyrating and a male pulling on a chain around her neck, bringing it up. So when it's being pulled, you go up, and when she's gyrating, then you slide down. So that gave it the ups and downs.
Right.
So I said, okay, this is going to make it fun. Because at the end of the day, the objective of the game is to bridge the gap in communication, kill the
Sure.
awkwardness and the
Sure.
judgment, right?
Right. Right.
It's not about who wins.
Hmm.
Everyone's a winner when they play the game.
Okay.
So so it didn't matter to get to the space 100. So going up and down just made it more fun.
Okay.
And then I said, okay, uh, but if they're playing this game, they're naturally more than likely having a drink. Although I am not promoting alcohol, at the end of the day, most likely you'll have a drink. So I said, why don't I make it spill proof? So I silicone based the actual board. So it's
Smart.
kind of it's spill proof.
Very
And
smart.
then I said, okay, I have to have a wide range of sexual options. And everything I could think of, it took me literally 5 years to come up with the perfect cards of about 18, maybe even more so edits. I
Yeah.
asked every girlfriend that I had as every male friend that I knew to help me edit these cards. And finally I got to the point where it was what we thought was perfect. We meaning me, myself, and I, right? Because I created this entire thing.
All three of you.
And so, yeah, all three of us, right? And so, sorry. And so at that point, I said, okay, I need to have the dirtiest dice, not just dirty dice. And I've gone into how many shops and seen dice, and I can't stand them. Squeeze bun, lick
Hmm.
nipple. Like, no, that's not starting the party. That is really corny. And so I said, they have to be naughty, very naughty. So I created like these very naughty dice. And then I said, okay, so we have the dice, we have the cards, we have the board. Then I said, okay, this is
What
like
do
three
what
games in
what do
one.
naughty dice look like? I'm kind of curious.
What do naughty dice look like? Okay, well, I
Since
happen
we're
to have them
since
right
this
here in
since
front of
this
me.
is an audio interview.
Right. Okay. Well, naughty dice look like the position dice is for all players.
Right.
And so you have a wild, which means you get to pick whatever position. You
Right.
have a right on top.
Hmm.
You have a doggy style. You
Hmm.
have a missionary. Then you have a 69 and you have a cowgirl.
And these are
So those
dice.
are this is the position die, right?
I
So
love
it
it.
tells you those are the pretty common positions,
Right.
right? So you can only put six. It's a six-sided dice. So those are the ones I went with. And then
Interesting.
there's his dice and there's her dice. So when it's a male's turn, he rolls the male dice with the position dice. When it's the woman's turn, she rolls the female dice with the position dice. And
Interesting.
this is how you determine what's to be done. Now, this
Ah.
happens when you land on a white square.
Okay.
Whenever you land on a white square, it's time to roll the dirtiest dice. And so,
Love it.
for instance, I'll roll the dice right now as if I was a female. Okay. And it says missionary, and it says fuck me with toy, missionary. So
There
this
you
is what
go.
the male would do, and that's what he would do. And that's an idea of what the dice would say. So they're
Okay.
pretty, to the point.
Yep.
But they're not kitty dice. There's suck his cock, there's fuck my pussy, there's wild, there's fuck my and it's dot dot dot. There's eat my pussy, and there is let me see. Oh, fuck me with toy. So those are the options,
Hmm.
and the male dice are pretty much the same, but just the
Right.
other way. So
Got it.
it's fuck her with toy.
Yeah.
suck my cock, like that, and it keeps going.
Yep.
So it makes it for dirty dice because they don't really have dice that are that straightforward
Hmm.
to the point of doing a sexual, more kind of a teasing type of thing. These are more
Right.
of an action taking.
Right.
And then when say for instance, if you roll the number die, which is a 10 position number die, it's a diamond shape.
Right.
Um, so if you roll it and you land on a red square, you pick a red card. And if
Hmm.
you land on a rose square or like a peach colored square, then you pick that color card. And then you do the action that is written on there for you to take action with.
Got it.
And that's pretty much the gist of the game.
Okay.
But in that sense, the game takes all the blame. So we trademark blame it on the game
I like that.
because this way, it takes you out of your comfort zone to request these things. But when you're playing the game, you already agreed to play this game. So it's whatever the game says to do, right? At that
Right.
point, there's no judgment, there's no criticism. It's out the window. The
Hmm.
awkwardness is out the window. And it
Got it.
becomes more enticing
Hmm.
than anything.
Sure. Sure.
So yeah.
Now,
So
why
oh,
did
I'm sorry.
you? Oh, no, sorry to interrupt. Why did you create products for couples as opposed just to for individuals?
That's a good question. I mean, playing games is just so much more fun when you take in turns.
Sure.
So that's exactly what struck my interest in going in the couple route as opposed to individual route.
Right.
Um, and then there's so many beneficial factors in masturbation,
Hmm.
but it's so much more fun to watch your partner, the person you're into, either you lust or you're in love with, and to watch them masturbate. It's really arousing.
Hmm.
And a lot of people don't know that.
Right.
Women are ashamed. Sometimes, like if a boyfriend or a new guy that
Right.
she's just started date finds a toy on her, or catches her masturbating, or if a guy gets caught masturbating, either to porn or to like pictures of her, it becomes awkward,
Of
right?
course.
But with this game, it becomes a norm. It becomes
Right.
actually an add-on to your sexuality. It just takes your sexuality to new heights because now the shame is out the door.
Right.
It's kind of that, like when you know how comedians, when they joke about themselves,
Hmm.
so they leave no room for no one to really ridicule them
Of course.
because they're
Of
ri- they're
course.
joking on themselves. It's that kind of approach.
Yeah.
When you
Yeah.
take all the stereotypes and all the just the standards, the norms out the window, then inhibitions just start fading away. They just fizzle away. And
Sure.
you become more open, closer to your partner. And
You
so,
would.
I mean, really, that's really what took me to finishing the game. And then
Hmm.
I was approached by someone
Hmm.
that was very interested in my concept. And they were like, hey, why don't we really do this and make this high end like you want, and let's put it out? And I was like, are you serious? And he was like, yeah. I'm like, let's do it.
That's
And so
awesome.
we did. We did.
So, what's your target audience for Triple X Playground?
Oh, my target audience is, I know that the legal age is 18.
Right.
I just feel more comfortable at 21.
Hmm.
So I say 21 to 55 plus.
Hmm.
Um, and I think that my niche is also a part of that answer would be both male and women, but
Hmm.
not only heterosexual.
Right.
My game board comes with 9 game pieces. One of them is a uh, double genre,
Okay.
gender rather,
Yeah.
gender. So
Right.
it's a male female piece. That if you don't want to claim either,
Hmm.
I want everyone to feel comfortable. And then
Right.
the refill packs are, you know, catered to bisexual, bicurious, or homosexual, or
Hmm.
even people that are into like BDSM and things like that.
Hmm.
So, it's sky's the limit. This
Yeah.
this is the one game that you buy, and it covers all the bases.
Hmm. Interesting.
Yeah.
So, what's your plan of action for getting this brand to spread throughout the world?
Wow. So globally, right now we're domestic at the moment, and we just we just actually partnered up with a huge entity and a well-reckoned individual in the adult facet, if you will. So it's Ray J.
Hmm.
Yeah, I know you've heard of Ray J. I think
No, I have not, but I'll take your word for it.
Ray J, who started the Kim Kardashian video. He starred in it with her.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, Ray J, Brandy's brother.
Okay.
Yeah, so he actually has a huge sex show that's about to air
Okay.
soon on one of the networks, and so we got product placement with him.
Oh, wow.
And then yeah, and the game is actually going to be a focal point of the show,
Nice.
and he's also the face of the product
Okay. That's
starting the new
fantastic.
year. Yeah,
Wow.
yeah. So he has a huge network, and that's his realm.
That should
So
help
that's a
sales.
really good look for us. So that's how we're going to globalize.
Hmm.
Also, he has a plan of action to globalize the brand within a 2 to 3 year span.
Fantastic.
So yeah,
Wow.
so that's our plan of action right there.
That's great. Where do you
Hmm.
see your brand being in 5 years?
I see us being one of the top three one-stop shops for all your sexual needs and accessories.
Mm,
Um, yeah, we have about 30 products on the assembly line, one SKU at a time, obviously, because that's smart marketing.
right.
And we have services coming that should pretty much cover the entire gamut.
Hmm.
Um, we will be
So
releasing.
you're adding adult novelties as well.
Yeah, we're adding adult toys, yeah,
Right.
and
Right.
for sure as
Novelties. Yeah.
accessories to the games, yes,
Right.
novelties, yes,
Yes.
and also we're adding a dating service
Ah,
and a tube site where
okay.
you will see the game being played as a proprietary game being played on our proprietary site. So it'll be sort of like like when you watch the Cam Girls, but this is a little different because it'll be couples, it'll be a couple and a unicorn, or a couple and a bull, or two couples or three couples, and it just makes for more of a show than just like watching a porn clip.
So you're
It
actually
becomes
so you're actually going to host your own campsite. It's not going to be a white label.
exactly,
Mm, wow.
exactly. Yeah,
That's quite an undertaking.
yeah, yeah, yeah. I know. That's what we're working on. So it's I mean, I know it's going to work just because of the nature of where porn itself is going, and where the tubes have taken porn, the entire industry as
Hmm.
a whole,
Right.
and also the dating site. So it just makes sense. It makes
Right.
sense.
Right. So here's a chance to give your elevator pitch. Why would why would people buy your products as opposed to other people's?
Well, you know what? Our games are the only games on the market
Hmm.
that have beneficial factors.
Hmm.
They bridge the gap in communication. They kill the awkwardness. It's free of judgment and criticism, and it's an ongoing experience every time you play the game.
Hmm.
This is why. Plus, you get the most bang for your buck, literally and figuratively. It's three games in one. So you got the dice game with different rules, you have the card game with different rules, and then you have the board game with the cards and dice.
Right.
You buy the game. Right now, we're developing the app. When the
Hmm.
app comes out, you get 6 months service on the app for free. And that's
Nice.
point, yeah, from the far end and the near end. You can play with another group or another couple elsewhere, and it's completely private. So we're working on the app now. It's under development. So this is
Hmm.
all you get for the price point, which is cheaper than one session at a couples therapist. And you get no solutions at a couples therapist with one session.
How
That's
much is
called
it?
orientation.
How much is your
Well,
game?
the
How-
game MSRP is at 169.99,
Okay. Okay.
and
Like
right
it.
now it's on sale for 119.99.
Nice. Nice.
Yeah,
And I'm assuming they can primarily get it on your website.
you can get it on my website, which is spelt out triple the letter X playground.com. That's triple X playground.com. You can also get it on Amazon. You also can get it at Walmart. And we have it on Etsy and a couple of other places, but mainly, the website and Amazon. Amazon's kind of a go-to place for most people around the world, um, at least over here. So that's what people feel comfortable putting their credit card information and shopping is Amazon. So if it's on Amazon, it's legit, and
There
that's
you
just the way
go.
it looks. Yeah.
We We hope, except for the knockoff products I bought that ended up being from Amazon. Um,
Oh, wow.
what are we won't go there. Or just bad products. Since you gave your web address, what about your social media handles?
So my social media handle, my primary page on Instagram is triple underscore X underscore playground. And then all the other social medias is triple X playground, spelled just like that. The word triple, the letter X, and the word playground. All social media. Twitter is triple X play GRND. I
Okay.
don't have enough letters on there. But pretty much triple X playground, you can find us everywhere. YouTube,
Damn
Pinterest,
Twitter.
Tumblr. We're everywhere. We are everywhere.
Damn Twitter, they make everything difficult. Is this going to solely an e-commerce business, or are you planning on expanding to brick and mortar?
Actually, right now is solely an e-commerce building business, but we are already reaching out to brick and mortar companies that we see ourselves um, having a good joint venture with, that we could do something really positive and make an impact. So we're in talks, but we're not in negotiations just yet. Just because right now the way we're going to unveil this campaign for the first quarter of the year,
Mm-hmm.
we want to keep it on e-commerce at
Right.
least for 1 to 2 quarters, and then after that we should be looking to place it in pretty much all the brick and mortars across America to start.
Okay. Great.
Yeah.
Now, since this will drop in May, when should we expect some things like the tube, the cam platform, and things like that? What are your plans
Okay.
for that?
Yeah. So we're actually speaking to OnlyFans to do something immediate, just to get a whistle wet, if you will.
Hmm.
At the same time, we're developing the platform.
Okay.
So I can't give you a concrete time, but I would say probably a year from now. So maybe 6 months from when this airs.
Okay.
Yeah,
Fabulous.
yeah.
Well, hey, Jack, I'd really like to thank you for being our guest today on Adult Site Broker Talk, and I hope we'll get a chance to do this again real soon. My broker tip today is part 5 of what to do to make your site more valuable for when you decide to sell it later. When you decide to sell your website, make sure you have the following information available for potential buyers. Detailed information about your company, your website, and any other aspect of your operation the potential buyers may want to find out about. This should include, for a pay site, a detailed inventory of your content, number of images and number of videos, how much of it is exclusive and how much is non-exclusive, financial information for at least the last 3 years if your company is that old. This should include sales reports, profit and loss statements, and billing reports. Get all of the information organized in a legible format that a good broker can use to sell your property. If you decide to sell it yourself, organize a list of potential buyers and start the process for contacting them. Be realistic about what your company is worth. In today's market, the kiss of death is overpricing your property. Is there anything a potential buyer needs to know, such as, are you being sued? Do you have any substantial debts, etc.? Don't let these things be a surprise to the potential buyer. They'll either find out before the sale and not buy, or they'll find out after the sale and you'll have another lawsuit on your hands. Disclose everything. We'll talk about this subject more next week. And next week, we'll be speaking with Brittany Wilson of the Dungeon Store. And that's it for this week's Adult Site Broker Talk. I'd once again like to thank my guest, Jack Polo. Talk to you again next week on Adult Site Broker Talk. I'm Bruce Friedman.